So we've just had our latest Bulletproof Agency Network event, and we had Robert Craven travel up all the way from Bristol. Robert is a fantastic speaker, author of Grow Your Digital Agency, and an expert in helping digital agencies across Europe to grow successfully. Robert's going to be talking to us about what those successful agencies do that separates them from the competition, the way that they've devised their strategy, and how they go about marketing, operations and finance, the key pillars of any business. He finishes off with some really interesting ideas about how you can build a dashboard of KPIs specifically for an agency, and we've recorded the best bits of that event ready for you to watch.
Once you've established that it's your fault, you've got no one else to blame. So why aren't we getting more customers? Because I haven't put in place the systems and the processes to recruit those kind of customers. Why haven't I done that? Because I don't have the training. What am I going to do about it? I'm going to go and get some training. What's the cost of doing the training? It's going to cost me a day a week out of the business to make that happen. Am I willing to make that call? Yes, I am. Ching. So there's a kind of a piece around that. What I want to talk about is how these guys and gals, the high growth, high performing people, what they do and how you can get closer to making them happen. That's kind of the money back guarantee. So what we're talking about is, where are we now? Where are we going? How are we going to get there? Question number one, before we can do any of this kind of stuff, is we need to establish how good your agency or your business is. What are the sort of things that I measure? What are the sort of numbers that I look for in order to understand how good your business is? Go. Profitability. So we have net profit, gross profit, EBITDA. Some of you go blank on me, and others will go, oh yeah, we know what EBITDA is. If you don't know what it is, you probably don't need to know about it. And if you do know about it, then that tells me something about you. Other financials and measures? Client retention. Okay, I'm going to put that. That's an interesting one. I'm going to put it down here because it doesn't fit what I'm trying to do. Here's one I made earlier. Any more financials? Cost per acquisition. Cost of customer acquisition. Love it. What goes with cost of customer acquisition? Flipping it around. Lifetime value of the customer. Lifetime value of the customer. Fantastic. Okay. If anyone doesn't know cost of customer acquisition and lifetime value, not for their clients when you're doing your ROI nonsense with clients, but for your own business, that is a real key to how you grow your business, is understanding those two. If you don't know them, see me at the break, so to speak. Any other financials? Average order value. Recurring revenue. I love recurring revenue. I love recurring revenue, but you haven't given me the most important thing. So, oh, jeepers creepers. Come on then. Thank you very much. Who said that? Brilliant. You're a star. You get a copy of the book for free because you're such a good person. Bloody hell. Cash. You can't do anything without cash. Cash, 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 cash. It is illegal to trade without cash. It is impossible to trade without cash. Okay? It's legal. You've just got to nail the cash thing. And what you've given me is the financials. And my friend, we got any accountants in the room? I'm getting a bit nervous. Oh, of course. I forgot. Ha ha ha. So Paul Barrow, who's my great mate, is an accountant, and he goes, finance is the engine of the business. Cash flow is the most exciting and sexy thing in the world. I love finance, and what I like to do is late at night is get myself a set of accounts and go into, Paul's going, yes, good, set of accounts, dark, damp room, look at the accounts, go, oh yeah, look at the numbers. Oh, those numbers are so exciting and sexy. Let's get some more and look at some more. It's fantastic. Only on Friday if you're wearing that funny clothes you wear on a Friday. Okay? But that's not, no one else in the room apart from Paul gets that kind of stuff, okay? So what are we about? What are the sort of things that we measure to tell us how good the business is? Client retention. Spot on, great one, okay? Two more things, I'm going to keep it moving, okay? So client retention is about what? Let's just split out client retention because that answers everything. Why would clients be retained? Because they're happy, because what you do is good. So I'm going to call it operations. Output per person, complaint rate, defect rate, quality of your staff, quality of your kit. There's as many measures of operations as there are as measures of your finance. So we now have not one, but we have two balls. We have finance, get the money, get the money, get the money, get the money. And we have operations, do the business, do the business, do the business, do the business. Get the money, do the business, get the money, do the business, get the money. What's missing? So the bit that's missing is clients and getting clients, which I'm going to call marketing. So for me, marketing, mind the loudspeaker, for me marketing is about he or she is my customer, and when they have a hurt, need, itch, scratch, want, and they look around and say, I have a hurt, need, scratch, itch, want, I need my marketing sorted out, I need my branding sorted out, I need to be working with someone who can do this digital stuff for me, and they look around and they see me and they go, oh, they like the cut of my jib, yeah, and they decide to contact me, and we do business together, and it's profitable. That's marketing. Otherwise, it's just vanity. Yeah? Otherwise, if there's no sale at the end of it, it's just vanity as far as I'm concerned. So we have, you can do a score out of 10 for your financial performance. How good is our finance? Turnover, profit, cash. We can do a score out of 10 for our marketing performance. How good are we at getting customers we want to buy from us to buy from us? I have done this with the main board of Barclays and Hovis Rank McDougall, and I've done it with one-man bands. It works so well because you just say, what score do you give yourself for marketing? And you say, 4. And you go, 4? Why 4? And then you just go, puke up all over me. And then I go, don't you really mean 5? Is it 4 and getting better, or is it 4 and getting worse? And what could you do right now? Blah, 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 blah. So I think we've done this with about 30,000 businesses, so we kind of know what, on average, they look like. Most of those businesses are professional services or agencies. Would you like to know what those scores look like? Yeah, I thought you might. They look very, very roughly like this. Finance, 6. Yeah, we go on holiday. It's all okay. Pretty good. Second-hand Ford Mondeo, could be better. Is anyone else looking at my scores? No, they're not. That's okay, fine. We'll do operations next. Now, I am a god. Okay, let's just be clear about this. I am so good at what I do. I go to all these things like this. I'm learning. I read books all the time. I go to conferences. I've got qualification. Yeah, there's very little I don't know. So, although I would privately in my dark room on a Friday night give myself a 10, because I'm in public and we're a bit British, I'm going to give myself an 8. And then marketing, I'd like you to think back to when you were leaving school and you had to go and see the careers teacher, and the careers teacher said, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I'd like you to go like this, me. If when the careers teacher said, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I'd like you to put your hand up in there really high and positively if that answer to that question was sales. Yeah, so just you and me at the interval. We'll be talking on our own, probably on the balcony, while everyone else has an interesting conversation and wonders what on earth we're talking about. Yeah. So hence, the score for most people for marketing and sales is a 4. That's kind of the trend, I'm afraid to say. Now, let's just divide this up a little bit very, very quickly. Sell, make, collect. Sell, make. If you drop any one ball, you go out of business. I can't be any clearer than that. Okay, you need to do all of them. Sell, make, collect. If any one ball goes a bit weird, it affects all the others. I can't be any clearer than that. Okay. Finance, because of the accountants and the consultants and the business schools and the banks make us think that finance is more important than anything else, and that finance becomes this huge, great thing here, where we're kind of nervous about how on earth we're going to deal with it. And of course, the thing is, if you've got something like this which you're not quite sure about, you end up focusing more on this, and you take your eye off the ball, because you're petrified about doing this. But as our friends will tell you, just like the other stuff, there are tricks, tools, devices that mean that something which looks totally unwieldy, if you only know how to do it or you've only got the right support, then it's actually relatively easy to do. Yeah? So the trick with juggling is you don't look. You just know where it's going to land. And you don't throw it from the end. If you throw it from the end, it goes all over the place. Same thing with finance, same with marketing, same with operations. And the final message is that your finance, despite what the accountants, the business schools, consultants, despite what they tell you, and actually we had a wonderful lunch in Bristol drinking wine over the harbour discussing this. Finance is a consequence of how good you are at marketing and how good you are at operations. If you are pants at marketing or pants at operation, you will be pants financially. And if you are awesome at marketing and awesome at operations, your financial performance will be awesome. What's the message from this? If someone gave you a score of 648, Robert Craven says finance is a consequence of marketing and operations, finance is the average of marketing and operations, what's your gut knee-jerk response? He says to a room full of people in marketing. No! It's the last thing you want to do. If you're only making 10p in the pound, then continuing to make 10p in the pound is just really, 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 really hard work. So what you need to do is you need to sort out your financial model so you're making 20p in the pound. Once you're running a model making 20 or 25 or 28p in the pound, then you bring in the marketing bonkers. Robert Craven says, 1, put up your prices. What happens when you put up prices? You get more money. What else happens when you put up prices?
You lose self-worth.
You lose. That is the word. That is my word. Thank you. You lose the pond life and scum, okay, who buy on price, who are disloyal, who will move as soon as they find something cheaper, who don't value what you do, and they'll move on. The people who stay with you, the ones who get what you do. So let me just run through these numbers. We've got an accountant in them as well, which makes me really nervous. If you're selling for 10 and you're buying for 7, the net profit is 3, nod Paul, nod good, and that is a gross profit of 30%. If you put your prices up by 10%, Robert Sagan says put your prices up, on this brilliant table in this fantastic book, 30% gross profit, 10% price increase, you can afford to lose 25% of your customer sales. Page 689, I've not got glasses on. Tell me what page that is. Yeah. 81, okay. You can afford to lose 25% of your customers, and the customers you lose are the pond life and scum, and if you put your prices up, you feel better. You no longer feel like a prostitute. You feel like people are valuing what you do. And only people who value what you do are buying from you. You cannot compete on price. There's people in the room saying, oh, you're in Manchester, sulfur. If you insist on putting your prices down by 10%, okay, so you'd sell for 9 rather than 10, the table tells you, you can do this as some, look at the 10, go down across to 30, 10% price decrease. You would have to sell an extra 50% of stuff. Robert Craven says, put your prices up, then you only need to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because you've lost a quarter of your customers, and you can spend the Friday doing really great things to blow those customers away. So they stay with you and they stay loyal. You're really adding value. Salford Digital, is anyone called Salford Digital? I hope they're not. says we're going to put our prices down by 10%. You put your prices down by 10%, you get more business because you're cheap. Anyone will buy from you because you're cheaper than anyone else. Fantastic. But you have to sell 50% more stuff before you get the same amount of money in your back pocket. So you were working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You now need to work another 2.5 days a week, which is Saturday, Sunday, and next Monday morning, only to get the same amount of money that you had before. It is bonkers. If you can, put up your prices. If you can't, decrease your direct costs. Go to every one of your suppliers and say, is that the best price you can do? And then say nothing. Just wait. It's a waiting game. Is that the best price you can do? And they will come back to you, often go 10% off, you buy for another year. It's amazing how it works. Why? Because Dilbert says profit is the difference between what you earn and what it costs you to buy it. So put your prices up does that, decrease direct cost does that. Third thing you need to do is fix your underperformers. You have underperforming staff. Sack them. Ideally, you do that legally. Yeah, good. Yeah. Ideally, you do it legally. Sorry, you do that legally. I'll replay that. You have underperforming products and services. Try and fix. If you can't fix it, get rid of it. You have underperforming suppliers. Try and fix them. You can't fix them, sack them. You have underperforming product. You just got to get that sorted out. That will sort out your financial model. When you've done that, then go hell for leather on marketing. But that is a quick fix. How the blinking hell do you make this thing happen? So first thing, be really clear in your KPIs, key performance indicators, that you have lag indicators, which are measures after the event, you can't do anything about them, and you have the word's just gone out of my brain. I knew it was going to go. Sorry? Lead indicators, thank you very much. You can take over. Okay, so be clear, lead indicators tend to be better than lag indicators, one. Secondly, of all those 1,000 measures you've got, you take these 4 boxes, spin them round like this. 4 boxes, finance, marketing, operations, people and culture, and you allow yourself a maximum of 4 measures in each of those boxes. Done. That's it. Qualitative or quantitative, lead or lag, I don't care. You run your whole business on that dashboard, maximum of 16 measures. At your monthly board meeting, which every one of you should have, whether you are a one-person band or 150, this is the centerpiece. You have a thing called a State of the Nation report, which says 4 bullet points of the month that's just gone. That's it. You don't need any more. 4 bullet points about the scorecard, what's working, what's not working. A report from your finance director, 4 bullet points, maximum. Marketing director, 4 bullet points, maximum. Operations director, 4 bullet points, maximum. If you have some profit centers, like we do social media and PPC, each of your profit centers can have 4 bullet points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's it. You set your board meeting about the future. 20%, 15% of the board meeting should be about the past. 80, 85% should be about the future. You should walk around the boardroom saying, what's on your plate at the moment? How can people help you? Is there anything else we need to know? We don't need to beat him up about what he did last year. He knows what he did. The rules of the game in the checklist are that the State of the Nation, which is a 1-pager, goes out 2 days ahead of the board meeting. everyone has to read it. If you haven't read the board meeting prep, don't bother turning up. If you're not there for 9 o'clock, don't bother turning up. Yeah? And it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So stuff all these 7-hour board meetings and you pretend you're doing something interesting. That game changer, well, I've got a couple of these here, I think, yeah. Yeah, that's it. That is the blueprint to making it happen. It's, year 2, it takes you an afternoon to do the whole thing. Year 1, it probably takes you a day or so to do it. It's the same as this. It's the same as this. And we've got clients all over the place, and you go into the MD's office, and it's up there. So that, I kind of feel like I'm selling this to you. I'm not intending to. The actual reality is that the 119 agencies we work with that have done this remarkable stuff, they've all literally followed this process to get the results. And that's why I love it. And is it difficult? Yeah, it's really hard to apply. It's really hard to make that decision. We're not doing any work less than 10,000 quid. It's really hard. I gave that crappy quote to you. We were talking about how difficult people are, and I said, yeah, it's better to have an arsehole than no hole, or whatever I said. No, better to have no hole than an arsehole is what I said. Better have no hole than an hole. It's really difficult to do that. We're recruiting at the moment. Can't find anyone. It's driving us mad. But it's about having that toughness and about working on rather than in the business. So recruitment, I've not given you an answer on recruitment. Not a great answer on recruitment because I think it's impossible. There are some really great recruitment agencies around who've done some really good work for some people I know. There are some really lousy ones who are hugely expensive, do all the stuff that you would expect to do, Facebook, LinkedIn, people you know. But what you need to be doing is creating a magnetism that people want to come, they want to find you, make it happen. Pricing, I only have one line about pricing, which is put your prices up. Just put your prices up. Has anyone put their prices up in the last year? Put your hands up. Keep your hand up if putting your price up killed your business. Keep your hand up if the price going up killed your business. No. No, it's good. Everyone survives. Everyone survives. I used to run a cafe. It lasts the day. Oh, coffee's gone up by 10p. Yep. I'll have 5 of those, please. And we all, and the number of times we go into a client, we go and they go, how much is it going to be new? £22,000? And they go, fine, fantastic, yeah. Proving your worth, I think, actually just goes back to the website that I showed you. Just do it in numbers. Doug Hall says, demonstrate overt business benefits. And if we're right that the thing that people want is overt business benefit, demonstrate to them. I think there's a cleverer thing to do than that, which is everyone's so preoccupied on number, is that you go to another level and you talk to people about how they feel. Because nobody does it. How do you feel about digital marketing in your business? Oh, I feel really, really bad about it. I've got to report to the boss. I'm not quite sure what's going to. How would you like to feel? I'd really like to feel that it was happening and the tail wasn't wagging the dog and that we could hit our numbers. And you just look them bolt in the eye and say, we can do that. If that's how you want to feel. And it is incredibly disarming to talk about how people feel. So if I was you, I'd sell on how people feel. Operating models. The quick and dirty about operating model is as you start creating a scalable business, you'll start, depending on how PPC versus social media versus all the other bits and pieces, 5 minutes, I know, you'll discover that you can almost create like a pod-like system, 1 head of, 1 assistant, 5 techies. Then you do it again. Then you do it again. And pods of 8, 9, 10 people, you can take a business up to about 60 people. Okay? But it's about creating that kind of pod scalable process. And then if you go into a different, then you have a pod for manufacturing and a pod for services, and then you have a pod for social media, and then people can borrow. But it also means that people have a bit of a hierarchy that they can go up. They can aspire to becoming a head of, because you can't keep stuff flat all the time. How to be different? I think that's about being honest, and I think that's about delivering awesome value, and I think it's about, and we go back to this thing about nailing what makes you different from the rest. Whenever I meet lawyers, they all know Conscious Solutions in Bristol, because they do law, and there's only 5 agencies that do loads and loads of stuff in lawyers, and it's about the issue. I think for you is about nailing, not being a jack of all trades, but trying to focus, which is really, really tough. Too many mistakes made. I'll leave you to share those with each other. That's actually much, much better. I'd like to leave you kind of with 2 things. The first thing's really, really straightforward, which is I'd like you to tackle big thing. What is your big 5, 10-year goal, plan, idea? What is it that you really want it to be? Is it a fantastic family? Is it brilliant at golf? Is it rowing across the Atlantic? I don't know what it is, but whatever that really big thing is. Because if you know what that is, you know where you want to be in 3 years' time. And the question is, in 3 years' time, what's the one thing you need to have done that will make everything else easier or less difficult? What's the one thing you need to have done in 3 years' time that make everything else less difficult or easier? Sell the business for 2 million, employ 20 people, be working 4 days a week. I don't know what it is for you. And if you know what that is for 3 years' time, then in 1 year's time, what's the one thing you need to have done that'll make everything else less difficult or easier? And if you know what it is in 1 year's time, I think you've picked this up now, what do you need to have done in a month to make everything else less easy or not necessary? And if you know what the one thing you need to do in a month is, you know what the one thing is you need to have done in a week. And if you know what the one thing you need to have done this week that make everything less necessary or unnecessary, you know what it is that you need to do today. It's about prioritizing and focusing. Finally, has anyone got a £5 I could borrow? So I can get back to Piccadilly. £5. I just want to show you something. £5? You got £5? Yeah, those plastic things. That's a tenner, isn't it? I want a £5. £5. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, here you go. I've shown you an 8-day program in very little time. And this is what the program does. So, and we run this program on the mastermind groups that I run, masterclasses. But basically, that's your business. You take a £5. You put the £5 into your business, turn it around, and out pops that. Yeah, it's really depressing on our bad days. You put the £5 in, turn the handle. Please, I want to do so much better. Take the £5, you put the £5 in, turn the handle. You've applied some cunning stuff. You've started to make this stuff happen. And hey, what happens is the £5 comes out at a tenner because now you're actually applying systems and process to make stuff happen. Which means that when you take the tenner and you put the tenner in and you turn the handle, out pops the £20 note because your business model is a money machine. You're actually making money because you're working on the business, not with your nose to grindstone. And of course, the other beauty, as you've seen earlier on, is there are economies of scale. So when you put the £20 note in, out pops a 50. Okay? So these are on sale afterwards. That's your £5 somewhere over here. You get £5 back, okay? Thank you very, very much. I'm here over food. It's been really great talking to you, and let's keep talking. Thank you.